going to be a beginner's guide that's going to help you find the ghost easier. And now you might be saying, well, you really are a beginner because you forgot the items. No, here's trick number 1, okay? All the doors in the house start closed, right? We're on amateur. The ghost will not do anything until that front door is open and unlocked. So we just opened it. So now the ghost is going to be inside interacting with things. And since the interactions can happen with us here in the van, we can now bring in whatever we want, and the ghost is going to be in there, and it's going to help us determine where the ghost is. So you got to start with the flashlight, obviously. I prefer to start with the EMF reader as well. Thing is, there's no right or wrong answer with what you want to try. We're gonna bring in a UV light. Normally I'd bring in a camera, but pictures are not as important when you're just starting out, because I think if you can focus on figuring out the ghost type, the rest of the stuff is gonna come by later. All right, so we're in here. Look at this. Look at this. See, door is open. We see fingerprints, lights on. Usually you would want to take a picture of that, but we don't have our camera right now. But now we can do that because guess what? We figured out where the ghost is without even doing anything. Without even doing anything. We know that the ghost is in the nursery. How do we know that the ghost is in the nursery? It interacted with the door and it turned the lights on. It's not going to be a mirror because it turned the lights on, but we'll forget about that part. So what are we going to do next? What other pieces of evidence are we going to do? First off, let's mark it in our evidence journal that we do have fingerprints. All right, look at this. Look at our sanity is still 97, 100%. We haven't lost anything. Now you want to get into a routine with what you're going to do. So let's place the other items. We drop those to leave your inventory space open. Now let's see if we can figure out if we have ghost orbs. I usually like to do that next because that's going to be fairly quick and easy to do. Okay, so we're going to go in here. We're going to turn this off. And now let's look. Ooh, do you see that dot in the middle of the screen? That is ghost orbs. Okay, that is ghost orbs. So you want to mark that in your journal, but you want to be careful. Okay, you want to be careful. Why do you want to be careful? Because we know it's going to be one of these, but it could also still be a mimic. Mimic will always have fake ghost orbs, okay? So usually what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait because fingerprints can still be a mimic. Now we're going to have to figure out other items. So we can set that there. We're going to set the book down. We can set dots down. I want to do that. And now we've already placed all the items in there, okay? We've already placed all of them. Now what we got to do is grab the camera, grab the spirit box. Let's see what we have. Now you can look on the computer for the dots. But right now what we're going to do is we're going to start talking to it through a spirit box, right? Ask it questions. Where are you? Are you here? Are you friendly? Where are you? Where is the book? Okay. So here's going to be a cool little trick, okay? Especially on amateur. This is going to be really good. This is going to be really good. Turn off the breaker. Fantastic. Also, I'll show you about that here in a second because the ghost can do that. So, throw that down. Now, we see that the ghost threw the ghostwriting book, right? Did it write in it? No. So, if the ghost throws the ghostwriting book and it has no writing in it, it's not going to be ghostwriting and you can mark it off. The ghost will always prioritize writing in the book over throwing it. Not looking like it's going to be spirit box either. But now the breaker is off. The lights are off. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? You look here on the map, you're going to see where the breaker is. That's going to be like the little battery charging sign. This is going to be in the garage. It's going to be in the garage. So eventually you will know how to get there, but the front door, any entry and exit doors will be signified by a green line. We know if we go straight and around in here, that's where the breaker is in the garage. Eventually you're going to play the game so much that you're going to know where it is offhand. But we can go ahead and head on in there and find out. Well, turn back on the breaker. Now, why is turning the breaker on important? Why is that important? Well, you want to kind of leave lights on. Okay, usually my tip is leave lights on because you're going to lose less sanity this way. You're not supposed to lose any sanity whatsoever, but since the update, it's been kind of glitchy. So you might still lose some sanity doing it, but you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to. So what we also realize is this ghost is pretty quiet in here. Pretty quiet in here. It's thrown the book again. It's thrown the book again, and just to confirm, there's going to be no writing in here, and there is no writing. Now, the ghost is still in here, right? We're still looking for that ghost orb. So the ghost can roam, but at times what you want to look for is see if you still see the ghost orb. Still see the ghost orb, and then we just saw dots, okay? We just saw dots, which means the ghost is a banshee, right? Ghost orb, dots, banshee. Yes. And you now have your 3 pieces of evidence. So let's try to slow it down again, because I feel like that all this happened really fast and you may sort of be confused. But what was the first tip that we talked about? Opening up that front door before grabbing our items. That made this so much easier, because not only the light was on, the door was open, we knew immediately where the ghost was, and that's stuff that you want to be looking for. Now, you see it's touching this, so we know that it left fingerprints, because anytime it touches door, knocks on a window, it's going to leave fingerprints. Also going to leave an EMF interaction whenever it does that. You have a camera. Now you can take pictures, because what you want to take pictures of are fingerprints, interactions, that type stuff, because you will see under photos, this is how you're going to make extra money. This is how you're going to make extra money. But I'm not too worried about the photos right now, because I want everybody to learn how to find the ghost first, because that's the overall main goal. The rest of the stuff will come later. But when you figure out what your keys are in an investigation, what are you going to do? How do you actually determine the ghost type and figure out where the ghost is? This is the way to do it. Okay, this is the banshee. So again, we opened up the front door and we knew immediately the ghost was in the nursery or the hallway. So the reason why it was more likely to be in the nursery is because not only the door touched, but also the light was turned on in the room. So that's 2 interactions in that room. Could have still been a hallway ghost. We would have used the other method of figuring out, looking for ghost orbs and doing all that afterwards to figure out where it is. So let's rerun this a different time, and let's see how easy it is the second time. So once again, what I want to do, come up here to the door. Let's unlock it, okay? Now the ghost is active. The ghost will be active, and the ghost will still be active without us in the house. Now we can go grab our items. Again, your preference on what items you want. Definitely start with the flashlight. I like to grab an EMF reader to determine if there was a ghost interaction. Photo cam, UV light, ghost spirit box, ghost writing book, video camera. Really, book and dots I wouldn't worry about grabbing. But the others, you want a photo camera to take pictures? Perfect. You want a spirit box to try to immediately determine where the ghost is afterwards? Great. If you see a door interaction, want to use the UV light? Perfect. Look for ghost orbs as soon as you hear an interaction to try to determine where it is. There's no wrong answer for this. It's whatever you're more comfortable with or whatever you want to do. You're going to get into the habit and routine of starting with the same items. And when you completely get used to doing the habit, it's going to get a lot better. So again, let's look. All doors start closed. Are there any open doors? No, which leads us to at least just the basis of it, right? If there is not a garage door open there, and there is not any door open in here, so it could be, could be in the living room, could be in the basement. Now, what I also want to harp on, turning on the lights. But what you can also do before searching, look for disturbed items. Disturbed items. We did not hear that interaction, but we know that it happened, right? Because there's not supposed to be a picture frame on the floor, Maybe there's a cat in the house that knocks stuff over. My cat likes to knock stuff over. But that's not in the game, so we know that the ghost is going to be around here or possibly reaching through the wall in the basement. So now, how do we determine it? And we're going to use our other pieces of evidence. UV light here, maybe not so much, because there's nothing really, if it is in the dining room, that's going to point towards that. Now, it could be in the basement as well. So is it in the basement? I think we have our answer. Where are you at? Are you in the shadow form? Over here? Are you behind me? Did I just run into you? I don't even know. Now I'm all confused. Now we're going to look, and we see a ghost orb. Kind of hard to tell, once again, but that's why you turn off lights when looking for ghost orbs. And we have one there. Now what you want to do is set the video camera, and we can also check for this. Are you here? Are you friendly? Where are you? Okay, it just tapped on a window, first off. I think this one, yep, EMF 2. You want to be listening. You want to be listening for interactions like that, all right? We do not have fingerprints. We do not have fingerprints. Could be an obake that does not always leave fingerprints, so just keep that in mind. It's just interacted with something else. It sounded like it was over here, though. Did it this way? EMF 5. EMF 5. All right. And it just knocked that over as well. Just knocked that over as well. So, what I failed to do now, put in the book. We can put ghost orbs and EMF 5. Remember, I told you to be careful before. But twins can't, or mimics, sorry, cannot have EMF 5. Let's grab our dots projector here and see if we can see dots. Now, you can do that while in the room. You can do that in the truck, whatever you feel more comfortable with. It's either going to be dots or fingerprints as our last piece of evidence. We just saw dots. We just saw dots. Again, it could be kind of hard to see, but you will see the figurine run through it, which means it's a Raiju. And you can also see it here on the computer. Hopefully, yep, there it is. So that's what it looks like on the computer as well, along with the ghost orb on the computer. And you can verify if you didn't feel comfortable staying in there, maybe you're scared. And again, we're going to have none of these objectives because we're not worried about these objectives right now because, A, we don't have a smudge stick. We don't have a crucifix. We're getting worried now. We're getting worried because this thing could hunt us and our sanity is going down. What should we be keeping in mind at this point? You want to be keeping in mind hiding place, okay? Just killed the breaker, which could be super annoying, but we have our flashlight here, and the breaker is right here. But you want to be keeping in mind hiding spots. Maybe while you're looking, you know, if you are looking in person and waiting for it, what are good hiding places? This one in the basement can be really good. You can run down, run here. You have a few places to break line of sight, and you don't have to worry about closing locker doors, closet doors, opening, whatever. All you gotta do is come here and you're gonna be safe. So we did it on Tanglewood, which was fairly easy, but it also works on other houses too. Again, before we do anything, we're gonna open up the door to the house. You can also, you know, grab a flashlight right quick because it was kind of dark there to figure out where the door was, and then come back again. Give you time to formulate a plan. The ghost is gonna be active in there, and then you're going to look for other stuff. So again, I would start normally with the EMF and a photo cam, but you know, you can start with anything you want. Let's go with video camera and UV light. It does not matter. It matters whatever you prefer and whatever works for you. So, again, let's turn on lights. Let's look, and what we're going to look for first is for disturbed items and open doors. Are there any of those? Do not see any there. That door's not open. That door's not open. I don't see anything disturbed, so maybe it could be, well, look at that. So, Not supposed to be there. So is it in the hallway or the living room? That's where you are listening for the doors. And it touched that one. And we have fingerprints. So it's going to be, it looks like here in the entryway. Foyer, they might call it. Who really knows? Either way. It's going to be around here. So again, we found that really quickly when we walked in because we saw the disturbed item. Not supposed to be there. That's where you got to observe. And then we heard the door touch and we verified. Now what we can also do, turn up our flashlight, turn up our lights, and let's look for a ghost orb. Do we see any ghost orbs? Here. Does not look like it. Are you friendly? Where are you? Are you here? Are you friendly? Where are you? Are you here? Are you friendly? No, and the fact that we don't have spirit box or ghost orbs would mean that it would not be a mimic. Are there any interactions that we need to know? And we're going to, again, work towards finding the evidence. And we're not worried about anything else at this point, you know? Yes, you can look for a bone, you can complete the other objectives, you can take pictures. We just saw dots, so we know that it is fingerprints and dots. Fingerprints and dots. And so it's down to these three. And then so you're going to ask yourself, all right, thank you for that. Thank you for that. It was like, we don't want you to be in the dark there. We don't want you to be in the dark. Thank you. Again, it's pretty easy when you have fingerprints because then you're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, okay. Maybe now I have fingerprint ghost. I can take pictures of whatever it touches. And I can get some extra money that way. But again, the main focus here, find the ghost type. And this is how you're going to do it. You're going to walk through the same steps each and every map, no matter what map it is that you're on. You're going to formulate that routine. It's going to become easier and easier over time, but always work on doing the same thing. There is the ghost. Now, the ghost picture is worth the most. So then you'd want to take a picture of it. Now, you might be scared as we saw the dots. So anyway, what I was trying to get at before as well is say, okay, well, we're having some issue figuring out what this last ghost type is going to be. So let's look at our three options. Okay, let's say, man, I'm having trouble figuring out this last piece of evidence. What is it? Now, phantoms, taking a photo of a phantom will temporarily make it disappear. Well, we just happened to get a photo of a phantom and it did not disappear. See how it's still all fuzzy? It's just the shade outline there. So you know that it could not be a phantom. Goryo. Let's look at a Goryo. Goryo will usually only show itself on camera if there are no people nearby. When a Goryo passes through a dots projector, using a video camera is the only way to see it. Well, we saw the dots in person, which means it can't be a Goryo. So therefore it would have to be a Banshee. We didn't even need that last piece of evidence to verify it. And it was a Banshee.
I've prepared some jobs for you.
And that still, to me, you use everything. So that way you could say, okay, well, I have it narrowed down. Maybe the ghost is doing some things that can make me narrow down other stuff. Well, then how in recording this do we have two Banshees? I don't know. That's besides the point. Either way. Now, it's also going to work on a bit of a bigger map like Grafton Farmhouse here, which we decided to grab by our trusty flashlight just for some extra security at first. We have not grabbed the other items. So again, we're just going to open up the door. Let the ghost simmer. Let the ghost do its thing. Just so it can activate, which, you know, you can see up there. You do have a 5-minute grace period before it can hunt, so just there waiting. And let's just, you know, grab a UV light and a video camera this time. You know, it does not matter where or what you grab. Really where you grab. I mean, it doesn't, you can't. It matters where you grab in this game, because if you don't grab the right place, you're not going to get the item. But we're going to turn on the lights to try to preserve sanity. And what you just want to kind of look for here at first is doors open, you know? Has it touched a door? Has it moved any items? You know, without just going into any rooms right now. Let's see what we can find right quick. See, can we hear anything? I don't see anything down here. I would like to turn on the lights upstairs. Don't see any, look for disturbed items. Look for things on the ground. Once again, following the same routine like we did on the others. And you don't have to wait for the ghost to do anything when you're at the door. If you just wanted to walk right on in, again, you could. This is just an extra tip, and it's going to walk you through, you know, this is just walking you through how are you going about figuring out where the ghost is, what type the ghost is, you know, what evidence, how do you gather it. But we're not seeing anything on the ground. I think that's supposed to be there. I don't see anything else that would lead me to think that a ghost was in here. Okay, no, that's turned over. So it's either going to be in here or in this room. Let's see. Do we see ghost orbs in here? You know, now that you see disturbed items, you can start looking for other pieces of evidence. Again, I wouldn't look for ghost orbs in that corner because that's going to put you at a disadvantage. Looking in here, do we see any ghost orbs? That baby's coming after us. Stay away from us, baby. Ooh. Okay. I don't see fingerprints or a ghost orb. Are you here? Are you friendly? All right. So we have that. Going to be in this room. Yes. The more you play, the more you get in the routine and sort of do the same things. But again, while we're looking for this, what's the key in case it hunts? We have not gone over hunts, but it is a big part. It has killed the breaker. All right, now that we cut the breaker back on, we want to just sit here and wait. Well, it looks like it just moved that bottle. No. Apparently we did not get it in time. It has not interacted with that. Nothing there. Okay. Ghost orb? We do have a ghost orb. Okay. Interesting. I did not see that earlier. Now, we don't have freezing temps because I do not see our breath in here. Do not see our breath. We have... And I'm usually bad about marking everything. I just sort of go for it, but... Turn off the breaker again? Okay, it sent the book flying. It sent the book flying. Which, once again, if it does that, it cannot be ghost writing. So, what? Can't be a mare. It's either an Onryo or a Yokai. I already know it's going to be dots because Onryo would be freezing, and we don't have freezing. Don't have freezing. Now we have dots. All right. Now we can get out. Now that was kind of scary. That was kind of scary. The ghost has done some ghost events to us, but we still managed to figure everything out because we're not worried about other things. All we're worried about is determining the ghost type. What's our sanity at after all of that? We're almost there at hunting range. We're almost there at hunting range, but we figured out the ghost. And that would be one of the things too that you could narrow down afterwards. You know, we were able to narrow down. It wasn't going to be ghost writing. And if you went and looked at Onryo, you would see, okay, it has freezing temps. We never saw our breath, so therefore not going to be in Onryo. Now, if you're still sort of confused about how the sort of evidence sort of works, I have a video right here that's going to break down the evidence in more detail. Beginner's Guide on Evidence. Check it out, and I will see you all over there.